Fullmetal Alchemist, The Abducted Alchemist. Another best-selling original novel inspired by the smash hit manga and anime series. Finally, I finished reading this one, and it was awesome. So what's it about? I think I should read on the back, because on the back there's literally no spoilers, so I'm just going to read it. Train lines destroyed in a series of devastating terrorist strikes, all without a single victim. A string of kidnappings targeting the friends and families of the military. Civilian anger mounts with every passing day, and the authorities seem powerless to catch the insurgents. Colonel Roy Mustang alone sees a connection between the two crimes sprees, but he'll have a tough time convincing his superiors at Central Command. At least until Edward and Alfonse Elric find themselves in the middle of the investigation and the kidnapping too. Alright, so that's a preview of what this volume 2. Finally, I finished reading it. Of course, it's by Mikoto Inoue, original content by Hiromu Arakawa. And yeah, wow. I can say by the tremendous story of this one was very good, and what it teaches also. So let's start with, of course, the characters. There's new characters, yes. There's of course the military, such as Roy Mustang, Hawkeye. Hawkeye is also here. Of course, Edward Elric and Alphonse. Who else? Well, there's a bunch here for the good guys, and for the antagonists, well, there's a few that I won't mention because that will be a little bit of spoilers, and I don't like that. So yeah, what about the development of them? Wow. It's really good. I have to say it's from start to finish. There's 5 chapters. Yes, this is like a really long story. So it's basically all the development from the characters from start to finish. Most of them did a part of doing something very awesome. Even the little things. Well, that's what I like about Fullmetal Alchemist, these kinds of novels. That will be with not just Roy Mustang, but with Hawkeye. We all know that she's very cool. We can see that in the series. And about her in this, I mean, like it's like the first, because in the first one she wasn't there, unless if you read the additional story from the first volume. But here she is so cool. I can guarantee you that if you're a fan of that character, yes. Also with Roy Mustang, dang, it's so damn well done. So what about Alphonse and Edward Elric? Well, they also went to look for the Philosopher's Stone, but this happened. The terrorists and the bombings in the trains. It's kind of like something that we're seeing today about the terrorists versus the military. And yes, this book, this volume right here, talks a little bit about those kinds of stuff. The military versus the terrorists. So before I get there, I have to talk about Roy and the chemistry with Edward. Roy and Edward, in this one, it's wow. I have to say that not just the action, but the teamwork of those two, because those two are like, if you watch the anime or you have played the games, I'll review the games more later on. Yeah, those two are always like, oh, you owe me this, so I owe you this debt. There are kind of like those, if I own you, you have to owe me back, or it's just like Edward's Edward is like this type of character that likes a little bit of payback, and he just doesn't like that Roy Mustang do those kinds of stuff for him. Neither Roy Mustang does like those kinds of stuff, doing things for him, and the acceptance of their debts and how they own their stuff between them, and it's really cool. It's the writer handled it pretty well here. So what else? Of course, the writing it's really easy to read. There are some, just like the first book. Let's see if I can find them here. Those drawings that Inoue. Well, right? It was. No, it's not Inoue. It's Arakawa. Yes, sorry about that. Damn it. It's a few. It's not a lot like the first novel, which it's hard for me to find right now. There we go. Yeah, these kinds of stuff. Yeah. So yeah, it's at least those are still here. With the other characters, there's a lot of other characters here that finally I cannot find them anywhere on the internet or on the series or on the anime or any kind of series out of this novel particularly. The new characters, the new antagonists here do not appear in the anime, and I feel very happy that they stood the characters here, not in the anime or manga or whatever. The fictional characters are here, and I like it, totally like it. And it's something that I have problems with the first volume of the novel, which not the novel in particularly, it's the adaptation of the anime, which they took characters here and put it in the 2003 Fullmetal Alchemist anime, and they handle it something there, but I like it when the characters stay here. And if you're gonna adapt it, just like I told you in the first review of volume 1, the characters, if you need to do it well. And I know adaptation is very, very hard to do, but if something needs to stay on the novels, stay there. Don't ruin it. And so, what else? The dialogue. Oh, the writing. Yes, let's go to the writing. The dialogue was very... There was some certain dialogues that were pretty heavy that I need to like, okay, this goes here. Because I'm really a slow reader. I'm kind of dumb, like, understanding what's going on. But I'm like, okay, this means this and that. And it's, like I said, it's really easy. Because there's I can't spoil. Sorry. There's some the dialogue here is very fast, like Roy speaking, or Alfonse, or Edward, or when it's action, that's the kind of like dialogue I'm talking about. When the action occurs, it's like it's a very fast pacing. That's what I like about this one. There's a lot of action. Well, besides the action, before I get to the action, this one particular is more like an investigation, just like Roy Mustang has been like investigating who are these terrorists, or what do they have to do with the kidnapping, or stuff like that. And he finds this connection, just like I read in the beginning of the video. It's like Alchemist investigating stuff, and I love it. It's so good that the characters and all the things connect, because there's like a chapter here that was like introducing the new characters, and I'm like, what do these characters need to do with the freaking terrorists or the kidnapping? And then like, oh, okay, and like capture it very slowly, but it's just me. But maybe you just like, oh, maybe she's the, or her, she or him is the kidnapper, or whatever. And yeah, it's for me it was very good, well done, well written, because it felt like I wanna like, what's gonna happen next? What's gonna happen next? And that's the way to do it. That's the way to do something that a non-visual reader, or maybe better said, a visual reader, because I'm a visual reader. I can't not visualize something if it's not put it on screen. But just as I told you in the first review, I'm a visual guy, and I picture stuff while I read, because if I don't picture stuff how it's described, because here it's very described, very very detailed, and it's just me. I visualize stuff, and that's how I go reading. Sometimes I go slower reading because I imagine stuff and how they are. I do scripts, so I need to be like, what does the camera actually visualize? What's put in the camera? So yeah, that's just me. All those readers who read extremely fast who can understand. Well, yeah, it's in this book. I mean, you could read it in less than 4 days if you're a really fast reader and totally understand what's going on. So yeah, it's just me. It's like I told you in the first review. So in the action, let's go in the action. The action is so well written, and it gets to a point that it develops so fast. Like, okay, this goes here, something's happening here, something's happening over there. Wow, the scenes, how they divided the scenes is so you can like you will know when they change scene from other places to another. So good job. Yes, good job. And what I really like about the action was that it wasn't a fist fighting. It was more like this kind of like, well, they're terrorists, so there's gonna be a lot of gunfire, bombs, and it was kind of like a freaking war zone. And dang, it was so good. I mean, like I told you before, Roy Mustang and Edward Elric are the best at teamwork. Even though they have their differences, even though they own each other something or debts, or I don't care. That's just them. That's their problem, and I like it. But the teamwork they did here, it's so well. It's so cool. It's what I expect from Roy Mustang and Edward Elric. Unlike the first novel, had fist fights, and there were fights, but this one there was more action, more throwing, more. We can say there were fights because what I'm telling you, there's no fight on one-on-one. There's fights between the alchemists versus the bad guys, the terrorists, And yeah, it's kind of like it's not a one-on-one. It's more like I told you, it's like a war zone. It's something that it's extremely heavy and really hard to write because there were a lot of characters involved in that war zone and that. So what else about this book? Oh boy. Well, at least it has 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Yeah, it's 5 chapters. It's 5 chapters. I think the first one was 4, and there was like additional story, which was it was okay. I mean, I already seen what they did in the adaptation, even though it was different. But here it's a full story in one novel. So it's good. How did I get this? Just like the same as I got all 3 of my Fullmetal Alchemist novels. Borders. If you haven't heard of Borders, here in Borders in Puerto Rico, a bankrupt, and they couldn't go further. People just stand there and read, or just sit down and read. Oh, I just bought them. That was one of the ways to just like get out of that zone and just buy them. And I feel proud that I did that, because right now they don't exist here. I don't know if they do exist in the States, but yeah, I feel very proud that I bought these 3 books. There's more. I think there's like 4 and 5. I have the 3rd one here at home, but I'm gonna buy the last 2, and of course I'm going to review them. The Abducted Alchemist. It's funny. Who does get abducted? Abducted. Yes, that's the word. More like kidnapping. And the comedy here is top notch. Is just like I told you, it's not just Roy and Edward. Alfonse also, Hawkeye also, maybe Lieutenant Havoc has some things to say there. There's comedy here too. It's very good. What else? Oh yes, the thematic of this one. The heavy things that has been happening in today, of the terrorists versus the military, and yeah, it's deep, but it's not into it, but it does tell what is going on with the mind of a terrorist and the mind of the military. There was once when the terrorist was speaking to the abducted alchemist, that the bad guys, who are the bad guys exactly? And I'm like, yeah, maybe the terrorists, right? But he also stated that the military also had that kind of things of killing people and not doing things the right way. And for that thing, it's kind of like things that... Thank you. Put this here. So, the Abducted Alchemist, terrorist, and yes, and the military, yes. So, seeing that in a perspective of today, it happens when a terrorist tells a justification, when you state something that is a fact, that the military also kills and also terrorize people. They're not far from reality. They're terrorists because of something, but the military also are military because of something. And both each other like, wow, the terrorist has a point, and then the military also has a point, because some of the in a particular from the military said some words of justificate. What's that word? Stating something that is a fact that the military does kill. And wow, how this novel actually went there was so good, because I can tell you if that's what we see today, because there's a lot of bombings, there's a lot of terrorists, but what's the military doing? I'm not saying that the military does something or doesn't. Is that the fact that how they actually go to a place and start killing, a place, a non place of who a place that the military don't live, a place that maybe the terrorists have some the meaning of what they do these things. And this Fullmetal Alchemist, the Abducted Alchemist, goes there. It's not that kind of like, oh man, that's what's happening today. Yes, it's kind of like it. I'm not saying that it's just like it. It's kinda. It goes kind of there. It just teases, or let's just say it's something that above or under the floor of what's happening in today. And I like it because it's something that I can think over and over, like, man, but the military has these rights, but the terrorists have a point. You get what I mean? And damn, thank you, Fullmetal Alchemist. Thank you, Makoto Inoue, because he was the one who originally wrote these novels. Of course, originally by Arakawa, but yeah, it's something that it's that he wrote. But yeah, it's something that it teaches. It taught me what kind of like a terrorist could kill for a reason. And when the military does something bad, it hits. It's something that, wow, because of that terrorist became a terrorist itself. It's because of them. And it's just like I read here in the description, that this is between the terrorist and the military. It's so well done. So I'm just gonna leave it there. It's something that I like from this one, because it hit that kind of social stuff that this world is going through. And this was written, I think it was 2002, maybe. Yeah, maybe 2002, 2003, I don't know. But yeah, it's kind of old. It's I mean, terrorism is nothing new. This is way back. And thank you, Fullmetal Alchemist, for opening one of my questions out of there, and like answering just a bit of an answer of what these two kind of think. And yeah, fully recommended. I think it's very cheap in Amazon. Don't buy it on eBay. They will rip you off. Like, I think it was $30. I bought this $10. I mean, it says it right there. So yeah, guys, I hope you enjoy. Fullmetal Alchemist, the Abducted Alchemist, is fully recommended. It's full of action. It's full of really awesome characters, such as from the bad guys and the good guys. It's a lot. The roster is big too. There's some lovable characters there too. There's Alfonse and Elric, of course. And yeah, guys. Let's see. I think that will be it. So yeah, guys. Please don't forget to favorite, rate, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for supporting the channel. This has been Zyberpunky, and I see you guys later.